Hash hash hash, whispers in the pines. The sun sank slowly behind the jagged silhouette of the Pine Ridge Mountains, casting eerie shadows that danced among the silhouettes of the trees. The crisp autumn air sent shivers up 18-year-old Maya's spine as she trudged along the narrow path behind her friends, Jake and Sarah. They had come to the mountains for a weekend of camping, a chance to escape the grind of high school and breathe in the fresh, pine-scented air. "Last one to the campsite cooks dinner," Jake yelled, breaking the hollow silence of the forest. With a playful shove, he broke into a sprint. Maya and Sarah followed, laughter mingling with the rustling leaves. As the trio set up their tents in a small clearing, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that they weren't alone. Shadows stretched longer as dusk settled over the trees, and she thought she heard whispers carried on the wind. Shaking it off as mere imagination, she helped Sarah arrange their gear. "Have you guys heard the stories about this place?" Sarah asked as they gathered around the campfire, the cracking wood the only sound that filled the growing darkness. "What stories?" Jake replied, leaning forward, curiosity sparking in his eyes. "Skinwalkers," Sarah said, her voice low. "They're said to be creatures that can take the form of animals or even people. They mimic voices to lure you into the woods. Some say if they desire something from a person, they might even take their skin." Maya rolled her eyes but felt a chill creep up her spine. "You're telling ghost tales now?" "Hey, every place has its legends," Sarah insisted, the firelight casting flickering shadows over her face. "There's a reason people avoid these woods at night. Let's just not get lost, okay?" Maya had heard similar stories from her grandmother, but she brushed off the unsettling memories. As the fire crackled, shadows grew, merging ominously around them. They told stories, roasted marshmallows, and committed to brave the chill of the night together. Yet, as darkness enveloped the camp, Maya's eyes drifted toward the tree line that loomed just beyond the clearing. It seemed to beckon her. Hours later, after too many s'mores, sleep began to come. Maya crawled into her sleeping bag, but sleep eluded her. She stared into the darkness, the faint sound of crickets filling the air. Suddenly, a rustling noise broke through her thoughts, causing her heart to race. "Maya?" Jake called softly from his tent. "Did you hear that?" "Yeah," she whispered back, her voice barely audible. The rustling grew louder, closing in on them. A deep, throaty growl echoed through the trees, causing goosebumps to rise all over Maya's skin. The whispers returned, faint yet distinct, wrapping around her like a cold fog. Was it her imagination, or was something out there? "Let's check it out," Jake suggested. "It's probably just a deer." Maya felt the knot in her stomach tighten. "Maybe we should stay here." But curiosity mixed with fear, and they found themselves tiptoeing into the darkness, the glow of their lanterns casting long, flickering shadows among the pines. The rustling stopped abruptly, replaced by a heavy silence. It felt as if the woods were holding their breath. Then, from behind a thick tree, a figure emerged. Maya's heart pounded as her mind raced, trying to make sense of what she saw. The creature was tall, its skin shadowy and textured like bark, but as it stepped forward, it seemed to morph, in and out of the shapes of various animals. A wolf, a coyote, a man. Its face was a distorted mask of human and beast, a haunting grin stretched wide enough to reveal razor-sharp teeth. "Maya," Jake whispered, his voice trembling. "What is that?" The figure threw its head back and laughed, an eerie sound that sent chills racing down Maya's spine. "Come play with me," it taunted, imitating Sarah's voice perfectly. Maya grabbed Jake's arm, fear crystallizing her thoughts. "We need to go back." As they turned to run, a howl erupted from the forest, an unholy mar to the night. Panic surged through them, propelling them back to the campsite. They scrambled into their tents, abandoning their campfire, which hissed and flickered in the embrace of encroaching darkness. In the oppressive atmosphere of the tent, the three huddled close, fear pulsating through them. Outside, the laughter morphed into a cacophony of voices, each one familiar yet twisted, taunting until they felt their stomachs clench. Another howl thundered in the night, followed by the rustling of branches, as if something great loomed just outside their fragile barrier. "Stay quiet," Jake urged, and they did. The minutes dragged like hours, and just when they thought morning would never come, silence fell over the woods. It was deafening. As dawn broke, The sun's first rays peeked through the trees, illuminating the campsite scarred by their terror. With trembling limbs, they crawled out, finding the remnants of their fire cold and dark. Leaves crunched underfoot as they surveyed the area, half expecting the creature to leap from the shadows. But there was no sign of it. Just an ordinary forest waking to the morning light. Only one thing was off. A set of enormous footprints pressed into the soft earth, too big to belong to any known animal. Without exchanging further words, the trio packed their things in silence, understanding that they were not meant to linger in this cursed place. As they hiked back down the mountain, glancing over their shoulders as if the very trees might come alive and pursue them, Maya couldn't shake the feeling of eyes watching from the woods, and the haunting whisper, "Come play with me," echoed long after they left the ridge behind. As they found their car and returned to civilization, she realized a part of her would never escape those woods, never escape the skinwalker that had learned their faces and names, and waited patiently for the day they might return.